Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 2373 AN. Today's date is January 8th, 2021, and the title of the episode is Central Bank Moving All Banks and Businesses Towards the Great Reset. Now, before I get started, I just wanted to let everyone know that the Twitter account for X22 Report, it has been suspended on Twitter. It wasn't just me. General Flynn and many others, they were suspended. The purge is happening right now, not just on Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. They're getting rid of a lot of accounts. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, as we know, the central bank, the mainstream media, the deep state, they're pushing their agenda right now. They're having banks, businesses, all fall in line for the Great Reset. They have accelerated their plan. They're moving forward with it. Why? Because their economy is crashing. It's imploding. And they need to push this very, very hard right now. We've known from the very, very beginning that the central bank system does not last that long. It only lasts about 40 to 50 years. Yes, it's lasting a little bit longer. Why? Because all they're doing is keeping on life support. Actually, they never expected it to last this long because they thought she would never lose. They thought they would have what they needed during Hillary Clinton's presidency. But she didn't become president, so they didn't get the Great War. They didn't get the cover-up to bring us into the Great Reset. Now they have to accelerate their plan because they know what's coming. They know that the United States will not be with them. Now, yes, how does the deep state, how does the central bank work? They keep pushing towards their goal. They never stop. Yes, they certified Biden as president. Yes, they believe that they need to move very, very quickly and bring in this Great Reset because they're going to do whatever they possibly can to keep Biden in the presidency. Trump and the Patriots, I do believe they have a completely different plan where Biden is not going to be president and Trump is going to stay president. Why do you think Trump was issuing all these executive orders, placing Judy Shelton back as a nominee? Because it was all prepared to move forward in the second term. What they're going to do during this period of time in his second term, they're going to bring down the central bank. They're going to go after the big kahuna. The central bank with the establishment, this is the Fed, this is the IMF, the ECB, the Biz, all the way up to the Rothschild banking system. This system is controlling the world right now. They want complete and utter control. They knew a long time ago, since they started the system in 71, that the system wasn't going to last past a certain period of time. Because this is how the central bank system works. It never lasts more than 40 to 50 years. It falls apart. The debt load becomes too heavy. Countries cannot operate. People lose jobs. Interest rates have to go to zero or negative. The value of the currency continually declines and declines and declines and declines. And this is why they're rushing right now. They feel that this is their only opportunity, and they're trying to use the pandemic to bring this forward. Now they're telling banks, they're telling businesses to prepare for this Great Reset. The structure of their world is going to change. But we know that Trump, during his first term, he's been putting everything to place. He's been deregulating. He's been renegotiating trade deals. He's been placing tariffs on China, calling out China, banning China from the stock market. He's been doing this the entire time, preparing the United States for something completely different. The United States is not going to be going along with this Great Reset. The central bankers, they're going to push forward to try to get the United States to go along with this. This is why they cheated in the election. This is why they did whatever they had to do to get Biden to where he is. They cheated because they tried to get rid of Trump throughout his entire presidency. It didn't work. This is the only thing they had left, and they planned this for 4 years. Why? Because the central bankers knew that their system was crashing. They knew that they needed to bring the entire world into a new system that they created. Remember, we're in a central bank system. It's an illusionary system. It's a system of control. It's a system of enslavement. It's a system that makes you think that debt is power. Well, debt is power to the central bankers. Debt is not power to the people. Debt destroys people. And they know this. And remember, the things that you have learned since the central bank came into power, with borrowing from the central bank, with interest attached, that you have to live in debt, that you have to live on credit, you need two people to work to get ahead, to do all of these things. This was created by the central bank establishment. Think about what happened over the many, many years. In 1971, when we came off the gold standard, everyone thought it was great. Yes, in the beginning of the system, it is fantastic. It seems incredible. Inflation. Wow, my house just went up in value. Wow, my salary just went up. Look at the interest rates. They're at 15, 16, 17%. Yes, that is in the beginning of their system. Because what happens? When you come off a sound money system, the dollar devalues. It loses value. So what happens? Everything doesn't go up. You need more of the same dollar to pay for the same exact thing. And that's what people experienced in the 70s. And going off sound money and moving on to a different system, you experience fluctuations. And throughout their entire system that we were in, as they continue to print, things get worse. Yes, the interest rates came down because they were able to readjust them after the switch. But what happens later on? The value of the currency continually loses value, which means you need more of those dollars to pay for the same thing. We weren't seeing the price of bananas go up. We weren't seeing the price of apples go up. Car prices weren't going up because they're just becoming more expensive. Actually, the ability to grow food and the ability to create these items, manufacture these items, it gets better over time. It costs less. But what happens when your currency is devaluing, where it's losing value very, very quickly? Can you keep the manufacturers here in the United States? No, it becomes too expensive. So what do you have to do? You have to move everything overseas. Why? Because we are the reserve currency of the world. The other countries are hurting. The other countries, they don't get the same thing that the United States gets. People get paid in pennies to do the same exact job. This is why the central bankers moved everything out of this country. It wasn't because, oh, you know what? Let's move it over there because they do a better job. They had to move it out of this country because people would notice that something's wrong. Why are the cost of these items, why are they so expensive? Well, it's because the value of the dollar is decreasing. The materials and everything that the manufacturers use, the salaries they pay, it's not really going up. The dollar is losing value. But if they move it over to China or Vietnam or any of these other countries, they can even it out. It's a trick. It's an illusion. And that's what they've used on the American people. And they knew when they started the system in the 70s, they knew they were going to have to start moving this out of this country. And that's exactly what they did. Manufacturing dropped. Trump came into office and he started to bring all of this back because he knew that the country, to put it back on its feet, he had to build a foundation. The foundation was manufacturing. The foundation was bringing the jobs back to the United States to prepare for this global reset, which the United States is not going to be part of. This is what he's been doing this entire time. This is why he's been renegotiating trade deals. This is why he's been deregulating. This is why he brought medical manufacturing back to the United States. Yes, has he been fighting the establishment all the way through? Do they really want to do what he wants to do? No, of course not. But remember, the companies had to. We're in a national emergency. We're still in a national emergency. Trump still has his powers. He's the president. Still. even though Joe Biden was certified. We still have until the 20th. He still has these certain number of days. Do you think he's just going to let it go? I don't think so. And we can see that he's been preparing for all of this for a very long time, and he's building the foundation of the United States. Why? To go after the central bank. Think about it. Why did he renominate Judy Shelton when he lost the election on November 3rd? Why did he decide to do this? This makes no sense. Why did he do any of this stuff if he didn't think he was going to be here? I don't think he would have. I think he would have said, okay, there's nothing I can do. The only reason I believe he's confident is because I think he knows exactly what's going on. I think he's been collecting this information, not just himself, but others, collecting this information for a very long time. He's been preparing to go after the central bank for a very long time. This is why Dan Scavino tweeted out these pictures of Andrew Jackson, Abraham Lincoln, Winston Churchill, letting us know what direction we're going in. And Andrew Jackson, he's the guy who brought down the second private Western Central Bank. Trump will be the guy who's going to bring down the third private Western Central Bank. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared.